Al, you recently wrote a paper entitled "Does Canada Need to Dismantle Supply Management in the TPP Partnership?" A lot of commentary and a lot of thoughts. Obviously, supply management is definitely in the news right now. Let's start off from the beginning. Why are our trading partners so critical of supply management?
Yeah, Sean. I'm not sure that our trading partners are so critical of supply management per se. They're quite concerned about the levels of protection that we've implemented around supply managed commodities. So that's the level of the tariffs and the tariff rate quotas. In terms of what supply management agencies actually do, a lot of our trading partners, frankly, they operate marketing systems within their own countries that do a lot of the same things that our supply management agencies do. So I don't really think the pressure is on supply management per se. It's on the barriers to trade.
And are import tariffs higher than other countries?
Yeah, and I think we should be honest here. They're exceptionally high. On dairy and poultry products, we've got a number of them that are well over 200% tariffs, and on poultry, egg products, well over 100%. So, yeah, they're quite high.
And I guess when we say about 200%, what is that relative to some of the other countries?
Well, in the paper we had a look at some of them just for a matter of reference. Australia and the U.S. Australia is tariff-free on a number of these same items. The U.S. has tariffs on most of these items. They're not on a percentage basis; they're on an absolute amount. But if you compare them on an absolute amount, they're sort of a factor of magnitude lower than what we have in place.
When you talk to for the DFC, the Dairy Farmers of Canada, and some others that are part of the dairy lobby, you can't. The feeling is very quite strong from that side that you cannot reduce tariffs as a solution here because it's sort of like the three-legged stool. You remove one of the legs, the whole thing falls. Do you believe that?
Well, I don't think you can divorce these things entirely. So. To take the limiting case, if you entirely removed all of the import protections in supply managed products, could supply management systems continue to operate? And the answer is, in my view, probably not, because basically what you'd be doing is you'd be restricting the supply domestically with no or very little offsetting increase in price. But could you look at reducing these barriers to trade somewhat? Yes, I believe you could. So it's a matter of degree here. It's not absolute one or the other. It's a whole continuum, really.
Right, and to be fair, the members of the dairy industry will say that it is kind of that absolute thing because once you crack and you let the water starts to leak, that crack just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it kind of implodes on itself. It's sort of the feeling from that side.
And sure, they're going to advocate a position that they believe in their interest, and that's understandable. But I think the reality is that Canada's in a position where we can negotiate barriers to trade. Okay, so it's not as simple, current level or zero. And we can be selective. We have a great deal of discretion and power in this discussion, because it is a negotiation. Nobody else is going to dictate to us what we must do. That's just not the nature of it.
I was in a scrum last week with Jerry Ritz, and he said exactly that. We're entering the TPP negotiations to make a deal, not take a deal. So I think he's kind of entering it with that mindset.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That is the nature of it, and it's incumbent on our government to look at the totality of what's on the table, and some other sectors have talked about what they see, particularly from a Western Canadian perspective, what they see as some of the big advantages from the TPP, and red meats, grains and oilseeds, pulses, a range of other products. We anticipate that there's some significant gains there, as well as in other elements of the economy. And our negotiators weigh all of this complexity of factors in thinking about what we can afford to do in terms of reducing barriers to trade and supply managed products. But one thing I think I can almost guarantee is no negotiator is going to look at this and say, well, let's see, there's no gain for Canada, and we're being asked to give up protection for or rather reduce protection significantly for supply managed products. Well, that's not a good deal for us. We don't think we're up for that.
And that's one of the things I think that sort of concerns some people, that the Canadian way would be to sort of take other countries sort of on their word that, we'll give up supply management because we'll get this. And that's sort of one of the fears, that we're about to give away something that we really didn't necessarily need to give away in totality.
I guess I have more confidence in our trade negotiators than that.
From your analysis and sort of your opinion on this, do you believe that we can get into the TPP without making some changes to our import tariff and our supply management system?
Yeah. So I mean, essentially, we're in now. We've been invited, and we're in. So the question is, what direction will negotiations go? And I don't think there's any secrets here. Other countries, particularly you would expect New Zealand, Australia, and to a certain extent the U.S., are looking at supply managed products, and they're saying, we're looking for some significant reductions in barriers to trade in those products. So, no, I believe that some reductions probably will occur.
Let's just say we got booted out of the negotiations. They said, you know what, Canada, you don't want to make any changes, get out of here, and they kick us out again. What would be the opportunity cost of not being involved in TPP? How big of a trade deal is TPP possibly for Canada?
Yeah, so the best estimate I've seen on this to date is some work from the Peterson Institute for International Economics out of Washington. Their estimate, and I don't know all the details of how they went about doing this, is $15 billion for Canada over a period of, I believe, it's 8 or 10 years. So that's quite significant. It's not mind-blowing, but one of the things that an estimate like that doesn't take into account is what markets do we have today that we wouldn't have in the future if some of our competitors get into TPP and participate in it, and we do not. So, part of our strategy in participating in this clearly is defensive, is to retain what we've already got. Then there's the gains that go over and above that, and then it's hard to capture in an estimate of the gains. What business do you end up getting with third countries, so to speak, that are not part of the TPP formally, but have close trading relationships with a country that is in TPP that we can now trade with? So, just to take out a totally perspective example on my part, Indonesia is not in, but you would expect that Indonesia has some strong trading relationships with, say, Singapore, who is in. So if we can improve our trading relationship with Singapore, I think we probably stand a very good chance of increasing our trade indirectly through the TPP with Indonesia. And some of these places, of course, are growing very rapidly in terms of economic growth and population growth, which is very good when you're in the agri-food business.
You wrote in the paper, Al, something I do need to seek some clarity on. It says, conversely, if protection were reduced very aggressively, there could be a desire on behalf of supply management industries themselves to dismantle supply management systems. Do you actually believe that there's a potential here, if shown the benefit, that the supply management group, the DFC and the poultry people would actually would be in support of this?
No, I think you want to turn that around the other way, Sean. Really, what that statement is saying is, it's again, can supply management exist in an environment in which we have decreased some of these barriers to trade, and it's a matter of degree. So, on some elements, in my opinion, certainly we can decrease the barriers to trade, and supply management can continue to operate. The specific element that you're talking about, if we did this dramatically, or in the limit, just removed any and all protections, I think some of the groups are going to say, why on earth would I restrict supply when we're going to get flooded with imports? I might as well produce as much as I can, and that would be the end of the system. I do not foresee that, just because I guess of what I said before. our trade negotiators are attuned to this. So I think what you're looking for is, or what I would expect to come out of this is some, and again I'm speculating, we don't know where this is going to go yet, but I would expect some significant decreases in trade barriers, but probably not so significant as it would cause the systems to be unable to operate.
So you believe, just so I can clarify, you believe that there's a happy medium here. There's the ability to lower trade barriers, but at the same time keep some form of import protection and keep the production quota system intact.
Yes, that's correct. But I think the important point here is that's our domestic policy choice. Nobody is going to make that decision for us. That's a decision that will be made in Canada. I think the producers of supply managed products themselves are one of the most important constituencies in terms of making that decision. But that's a decision that we're going to make.